Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to today's masterclass, which is Empowering Your Team, Elevate Skills for Effective C-Suite Collaboration, hosted by our wonderful partner, Symtrax. I'm Kat Moy, the Head of Education for the Accounts Payable Association, and I'm going to hand over to Symtrax to introduce themselves before they start their incredible masterclass on C-Suite collaboration. Oh, Mihir, I think you're on mute.
Yeah. Thank you, Kat, for the introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mihir Verma, and I work as a solution consultant at Symtrax UK. I have more than 5 years of experience in SaaS and AI, and I've been helping businesses in their digital transformation journeys. Joining me today is Janine Stapleton, Marketing Associate and UK Office Manager.
Thanks, Mahir, and thanks, Kat, for in the introduction. I'd just like to say hello to everybody that has joined this masterclass, the APA community, and to let you know that this is Symtrax United Kingdom, and we today are presenting from our London office. So we hope you find much insight from this masterclass, and back over to you, Mahir.
Thank you, Janine. So building on what Kat outlined, today's focus is to demonstrate how technology can empower your AP team to perform better and improve C-suite collaboration by providing better visibility and access to critical, crucial data. We'll explore this at each stage of the supplier invoice processing. So let's get started. So before I begin, let me just quickly take you through today's agenda. I'll start by outlining the problem we're discussing, addressing, followed by some of the main challenges associated with manually processing AP invoices. Next, I'll highlight the importance of automation and how it can basically resolve the current manual tasks in your AP departments. I'll then demonstrate the Complio invoice solution, an intelligent tool designed to streamline your AP process and also walk you through some of its key features. We'll then delve into the technology behind it, especially the role of artificial intelligence and intelligent process automation, and then cover some of the business benefits of adopting this solution. Janine will then take over to introduce Symtrax and talk about some of our other company offerings. And finally, we'll wrap up this session with some Q&As. So a few weeks back, I was doing some research, which led me to a surprising statistic. I learned that over 64% of businesses are affected by late payments, and on average, it takes around 43 days to receive payments from their customers. And I wanted to understand why it took so long. And upon analyzing, I understood that several factors contribute to this delay, such as unclear payment terms with customers or a lack of flexible payment options. However, the most significant factor is often inefficient invoice processing, which consumes time and can cause confusion and delays in the overall payment process. Now, you might wonder why, as a customer, you should be concerned about late payments to your suppliers. What you may not realize is that impact of late payments in accounts payable is considerable and is significant. This can damage your company's credit rating, incur additional fees, and also strain relationships with your vendors. In fact, late payments can sometimes lead to cash flow issues, making it difficult for a lot of businesses to manage it efficiently. So you see, it's an issue that can affect both sides of the business relationship, and it's in everybody's best interest to address it as soon as possible. Now let's move on and take a look at how invoices are processed in accounts payable departments. So I agree that invoicing process has its challenges, and what I've done today is pinpoint some issues that really stand out and are common across all industries. So first, let's talk about the payment delays. Many businesses use separate standalone IT systems, which means that they don't get real-time updates on each invoice's status. For some reason, if an invoice is stuck or a payment hasn't been made, AP teams often don't know why there's a delay, the reason behind the delay. Now regarding invoice matching, while some companies use two-way matching, others might use three or even four-way for matching, which for simplicity, let's call multi-way matching. So you see, reconciling invoices with purchase orders and goods received notes can be tough, especially with complex scenarios wherein there are multiple purchase orders or there are invoices without a purchase order. For AP managers, you'd all agree that control is key, but keeping track of who's handling which invoice can be challenging, especially when there are hundreds or thousands of invoices coming in from various suppliers. So you see, when processing these invoices, there are instances where a query becomes a showstopper and everyone within the team tries to pass it on to others. But eventually, you need someone more senior, more superior to intervene to resolve this issue. At this point, if there's no backup or if there's no evidence, the higher ups would never know the real issue or who has worked on that invoice previously. To add to that, communication adds another layer of complexity. Scenarios arise when AP team members need to speak with C-suite, their uplines, or sometimes the buyer directly to verify certain information regarding an invoice or to just seek some assistance. And when they're unable to do so, things can get even trickier. And finally, when processing these documents manually, unique challenges can arise. It's often difficult for AP users to spot email scams or fraudulent invoices at times. These misleading or deceiving documents look legitimate, but are actually not. And they basically trap you to make false payments. Manual data entry can also sometimes result in double or duplicate payments, particularly if companies use standalone IT systems. So summing up, it's clear that many of you may have encountered some of the challenges I mentioned, which at times may have hindered your overall process workflow. Perhaps there may have been moments when higher ups or C-suite have pushed you for timely deliverables amidst these obstacles. Now that we've looked at some major AP challenges, let's walk through what happens when invoices are processed manually without any scope of automation. So imagine a business that receives an invoice. It could be on paper, via email, or in PDF, or any other digital format. Someone from the AP team then has to take all the important information from the invoice, like supplier details, purchase order number, invoice amount, and type it all into an Excel sheet or their internal system to get ready for the payment approval process. The approval process usually starts with ensuring that the goods or services were actually ordered and then confirming their delivery as well, which is a part of the three-way matching process. This sometimes involves circulating a copy of the invoice or the delivery report throughout the company to obtain the necessary approval signatures before it again returns back to the AP teams to coordinate for the payment. So you see, amidst all this, the AP team is running around trying to track where the invoice is in the approval process, while also handling calls from suppliers wanting to know when they'll get paid. The information is finally entered for reporting and future references. So from start to finish, this whole manual process is full of places where mistakes can happen. It's because the invoice has to go from one person to other, getting copied, scanned, and entered into different systems along the way. So it's time for a quick poll now. Over to you, Kat.
Thank you. Yes, I'm going to launch our first poll of the masterclass. Okay, everybody. So what is the biggest accounts payable challenge you frequently encounter? The options are manual capture of invoice data, dealing with fraudulent documents, three-way matching errors, communication with other departments, or all of the above. So I'm just seeing as people are voting, there's one of these options that I thought was going to be popular, and it's certainly looking that way, but I'm not going to give a spoiler just yet. Actually, kind of one option that hasn't got anybody voting for it, which I'm a little bit surprised about, but I can talk about that once we close the poll. Okay. Almost everyone's voted, so we'll just give it 1 or 2 more minutes. Again, I'll read it out again. What is the biggest accounts challenge you have in accounts payable? Is it manual capture of invoice data, dealing with fraudulent documents, three-way matching errors, communication with other departments, or all of the above? Okay, I'm going to bring the poll to a close. Okay, so as you can see here, we had 16% said manual capture of invoice data. Nobody said dealing with fraudulent documents. Three-way matching errors had 11%. The answer that I thought was going to be popular, communication with other departments, 47%. Obviously, we talk a lot in our various events through the year, or huddles, masterclasses about breaking silos. And then all of the above was 26. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Kat. This is indeed surprising, but then the issue that has been raised through this poll that I can clearly see is the communication, the interdepartmental communication, and that's something that I'm going to that's my core focus for the session today, and I'm happy that I'll be able to address it for the attendees. So thank you so much for
Lovely.
running the poll.
Thank you.
So having discussed the challenges of the manual process, I'd now like to introduce you to the Compleo invoice platform. CIP is a smart AI ML enabled solution that's specifically designed to enhance the productivity of your AP department. And it basically empowers your team with greater visibility and access to vital or the critical data within your invoice processing workflow. As you can see, the Compleo Invoice Platform, or CIP, is a solution that's both SaaS and ERP agnostic, which means it enhances your ERP's functionalities without any sort of redundancy. And here's how it works. Your business might receive supplier invoices via email, various e-invoicing portals, or a shared common folder. CIP steps in to integrate and pull out all the necessary data from these tax documents. And with the help of AI, it then cross-verifies the vendor details on the invoices against your ERP database, and then alerts you if in case there are any discrepancies. CIP also enables collaborations between different departments, breaking down silos. It basically facilitates the confirmation of details such as goods receipt notes and the detection of anomalies in supplier invoices, all directly on one platform. And this functionality is crucial for the complex task of multi-way matching, which is especially important for companies processing a large volume of invoices. The data then gets synced with your ERP system and gives you real-time payment updates on where each invoice stands in the overall process. And finally, CIP provides a secured and safe space to archive your supplier documents, ensuring compliance and making them easy to refer in the future. So without further ado, let's dive into a solution demonstration of the Compleo Invoice platform. This will give you a first-hand look at the features I've been discussing and show you how it all comes together in action. So right now I'm playing the role of a supplier who's just going through the invoice that needs to be sent across to uh, to the buyer organization, and I'm just going through the invoice. The details are in place. I just look at the document. It has a terms and conditions page as well. I've now also drafted an email to be sent to my supplier, to the buyer, and now I'm playing the role of an APT member from the buyer organization, wherein I have my credentials, the user ID and password, and upon clicking login, I will be able to see an interactive dashboard with all the invoices coming in from various suppliers of mine. So you see in the mail entries section, I'm able to see the sender, which is the supplier's email addresses, and then the different subject lines and when did I actually receive the invoice. So when I refresh, I see that there's a new invoice that has come up which needs a review, and this was me as a supplier who has sent this invoice. When I click on view, I will be able to see the details that were present in the email or the document in general. On the top left hand side, I'm able to see the email that was shared by the supplier, and on the right hand side, I see the invoice and the terms and conditions page, the second page of the document. So CIB basically allows you to select which pages are of relevance to you when it comes to the three-way matching process or the verification process. So in this case, I'm only interested in the page 1 of the document. So what I'm going to do is against the type, I will be selecting mixed content. So let me just go and select the type as mixed content and select only the page 1 for this purpose of three-way matching. And also I'm selecting the accountant as myself in this case. There are instances wherein an invoice gets sent to you mistakenly, whereas it belongs to some other team or department. So you always have then that option to forward it to the relevant team through this option which says forward to. In this case, since this we are working on a demo, I'm just going to proceed with the workflow as it is. When I click on apply, I will be able to see the invoice against the received invoices section. And when I click on refresh, I should be able to see all the different details that were there in the invoice, such as vendor, invoice number, due date, etc., and the accountant that has been assigned to work upon this particular invoice. So the status right now is new. And when I click on view, I should be able to see the different details that were extracted from this invoice. So you see on the left hand side is the invoice, and on the right hand side are the details that have been extracted from the invoice. So like I said earlier, in the vendor information, you see there are details that have been populated. We not just see the details in the invoice, but we also verify the same in the ERP database, which is SAP B1 in this case. So you see in the invoice, you see the postcode as SW15, but deliberately I have entered the postcode as SW. In the ERP database, it's SW5, but in the invoice, I've deliberately entered it as SW15. So you see the discrepancy can be seen and is evident in the matching process. The same happens with the IBAN number as well. In the invoice, it's 68, whereas in the ERP database, it's 70. The solution can also take care of invoices in case it's created without a purchase order using different filters available on the tool. And you see the attachment that we did not consider for the part of matching and reconciliation is saved for your references. So for some reason, if you would like to go back and check the different details, you can always do that. I need to now click on synchronize so that the data that's present on the ERP, which is SAP B1, gets synchronized with the data available on the Complio invoice platform. And when I do that, I will be able to see the different line items in the invoice, the tower case, mouse USB, and you see there's billable quantity and there's PO quantity. But what I do not see right now is the delivered quantity, which I shall only be able to get once I've created the goods receipt node. So as next steps, what I'll do is I'll go to the other requests section, and Janine in this case will play the role of a buyer who has actually procured these items, and I'm going to create a request for her to basically review the details in the invoice and if she can confirm whether she has actually received these items or not. So let me just select her from the various drop-down menus, and there she is. Let me also just write a short note to her. So the communication feature that was highlighted during the poll is something that I'm particularly highlighting upon right now. And you see right now what I've done is I've sent a message to Janine that she'll be able to access in her inbox. And right now the status says verification. Over to you, Janine, if you could now explain how it looks at your end.
Thanks, Mahir. So I'm going to go into my inbox soon, and you'll see that I have received an email, a notification from Mahir. It's good to note that you can access this on any device, and you'd be able to click on the link and go through to the request. But for this demo purpose, I am going to log in to the CIP so you can see how it functions from there. Yeah, but like I said, you can access it from any device at any time. Okay, so here is my inbox. There's the notification. I'm clicking on the link. Okay. And like I said, I will log in so that you can see this is my side of CIP and what I would see in the Complo invoice platform. Here you go. There's the request from Mahir. I see that. I'm just going to display the invoice. Okay, so here's the active request. And hello, could you please confirm the details in the invoice? Thanks. If I was doing this live, obviously I would go through it with a fine-tooth comb and according to company protocol. But for the purposes of the demo, I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to type back to Mahir. So that he can get my answer, and then he'll be able to process, continue with the process. Okay, so yes, please go ahead. Okay, right, so those are all the details, and complete the request. And you can see that the task is done. So back over to you, Mahir, so that you can show what now comes into your Complo invoice platform from me.
Thank you so much, Jenny. So let me now go back to my dashboard and see if the request was approved. So I see that I've got a confirmation from Janine, and what I'm going to now do is complete the request at my end. And since I've got a confirmation from her, I'm going to now go back to my SAP B1 and create a goods receipt note pertaining to this invoice. So now I'll just quickly go and refer this PO on my SAP. Yes, this is the purchase order number. And let me just go and create a goods receipt note. Okay, so I see that the goods receipt note has successfully been created, and I should be able to see the details on the Complo invoice platform as well. When I click on view and probably go and refresh. So you see, I'm going and trying to do refresh every time, the synchronize every time, but this is something that can be customized, that can be set up for you, wherein you don't need to press this button again and again. The details will automatically get populated for you once the details are updated at your SAP. So you see, there's PO quantity, there's delivered quantity, and the billable quantity. So I can say that the details are in line, and I'm prepared with the three-way matching process. Now I'd like to show you how we can access the different events when you seek assistance from your uplines regarding an invoice. And it's sometimes beneficial for them to access to each invoice touch points within the platform. The detailed audit trail in CIP allows them to see who has actually worked on each invoice and at what point of time. So this, you see, this feature ensures that you always know whom to approach in case there are any issues. So I'll just go and click on integrate, and once I do that, I know that I'm done with the matching process. And what I'd like to see is that if there's an AP invoice created in my SAP as well. I mean the internal invoice that could be referred by my team. So going back to my SAP, and I'm right now looking for the internal ERP invoice number. So let me just remove the filters and look for that new document. Yes, so the number should be 1347. Let me now go and check if it's same and is reflecting on the Complio invoice platform as well. So if I go to towards the right, you see the status is now changed from verification to integrated, which is good. And the invoice ERP number is 1347, which is synchronized, and you have the real-time data updated in your platform. So right now the integration status is parked. That's because we have not yet disbursed the payment amount to the supplier, which is Dreamcast Limited in this case. So I'll once again go back to my SAP and disburse the amount to the supplier directly. Let me just quickly look for the vendor in my database. Yes, let me just filter the dates as per the descending order, and yes, that's the invoice. Let me enter the amount, which is £1,260. And once I do that, I'll click on add and view. As soon as I do that, I've made the payment to the supplier, and the same should reflect on the Complio invoice platform as well. And let me just refresh the toolbar and look for the details on the invoice that we were working upon. And as soon as I click synchronize button, the status should change from parked to paid. So you see the status is now paid, which means that the invoice has been successfully paid. The amount has been paid to the supplier. And once I do that, the invoice will move from the received invoices section to the classified invoice section. So we're done with the most of the processes of this particular invoice. Now I'd like to particularly emphasize on how one can make use of the various filters available on the platform. So you see the details are now updated. So yes, I was talking about the various filters. There are two ways to really look at it. Firstly, the filters that you see on the dashboard empower your AP team members to sometimes review their own work. All the invoices that they've worked upon previously, they'd be able to review and see if there are any invoices that require follow-up with suppliers, or basically when to seek assistance from their uplines. And secondly, the filters also enable the C-suite to monitor the critical invoice data, providing them with a unified, or I should say a bird's eye view of all the available information, which can help them in making some better informed decisions for their organizations. So what I'm going to do right now is just explain you the different filters. Right now, you see there are different filters available to you: postponed, litigious, integrated, or if there were some issues with the integration as well. So all of that could be seen using this status filter. But for now, for the purpose of demo, I just would like to see the invoices that were worked upon by one of my accountants, which is Nicholas Philip. And as soon as I enter the details, I see that there are 32 invoices that he has worked upon. But I'm more interested in looking at the invoices that have a due date of last calendar year till the 18th of March. So what I'm going to do right now is select the due date as the January 1st, 2023, and the end date as the 18th of March, 2024. And when I do that, I'll be able to see that, okay, there are 16 invoices that were worked upon coming in from various vendors. And I see that there are different status against each of these invoices. Some of them have been successfully integrated, some are rejected. but a lot of invoices that were integrated are still against the parked section. I mean, there are 6 of such invoices. So at this stage, it's a good time for me to basically speak with Nicholas and understand if in case he's facing any issues or he needs any sort of an assistance from his uplines in order to work more efficiently. So at this stage, we've completed the invoice matching process. However, for many businesses, it is also crucial, or I should say critical, to access all their supplier invoices in a single tool, regardless of the invoice's origin. And CIP can, in this case, be integrated with Complio Archiver, one of our tools, where invoices are stored in a safe and secure environment, making them readily available for compliance reasons in the near future. So when I log into the Complio console, I can see that there's an archiver toolbar on the top, and there are various avenues through which you can save and collect these documents, safely secure these documents. But for now, I'll go with CIP vendor invoice. And there are different filters through which you can look for the invoice that you're interested in. But right now, I know the invoice archiving date was 18th of March. So I'll just select the date and click on search. So these were the 3 invoices that were worked upon the 18th of March. And when I click on the button, I see the invoice has been successfully saved on this platform. And when I click up the button adjacent to it, I should be able to see the detailed invoice report as well. So this can be helpful for your C-suite and also your uplines in order to understand the entire communication that has happened on that particular invoice, and also the detailed audit trail, which I was earlier mentioning, who has worked on which invoice at what time, so that you can hold somebody accountable for any discrepancies that may happen, that would have happened in the past. And this is the terms and conditions page that that we ignored for the 3-way matching. So you see all the documents, all the information is now available to you, which you can access for compliance reasons in the future. So yes, this was the solution demonstration. Time for another poll. Over to you, Kat.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Yes, as I said, we're on to our second poll. So I'll launch that for you now. So what percentage of your current inbound invoice processing is manual? Please select one. So that's, are you fully manual, 75% or more, 50% more, or 20% or more? So we're just starting to see everyone's starting to launch their votes there. It's quite interesting. So we've got 2 front runners. Oh. Okay, we'll give it another minute or so for anyone to get their last votes in. So again, what percentage of your current inbound invoice processing is manual? Are you fully manual? Are you 75% or more, 50% or more, 20% or more? Okay, I will bring the poll to a close and we'll share the results. So as you can see, we've got 25% of our attendees who are fully manual. We have 31 or 75% or more manual. So I was kind of expecting sort of the higher percentages to be the higher voted ones. Although we've got 50% or more is 19%. That's a lot of percents. And 20% or more is 25% of the call.
Yeah. That's a whopping number, Kat, and I think high time I speak with on the technological benefits and why it is actually important to ensure that there's technology involved in the entire process, and also what are some of the business benefits if a company decides to proceed with involving some sort of a technological tool in order to make this process seamless. So thank you so much for running the poll for me.
Thank you. Back to you.
Now that you've seen the demo, let's talk about the technology that goes behind the Complio Invoice platform and explore some of the benefits it offers to your AP department. So artificial intelligence is something that's deeply ingrained, or I should say deeply integrated into our solution. And as you can see on my screen, we use various branches of AI, such as machine learning, natural language processing, and robotic process automation to enhance the performance of the Complio Invoice platform. And in my next slide, I'll go into more detail about how we are actually using these technologies. So alongside our machine learning capabilities, we've partnered with Microsoft Azure Form Recognizer, and this powerful partnership helps us in analyzing various tax documents and extracting key documents such as supplier information, total amounts, bank details with a very high accuracy from any kind of documents. We also recognize that as your business evolves, you'll onboard new suppliers who'll submit your documents in various formats. But thanks to our deep learning powered training capabilities, our system quickly adapts, learns from the past data to automatically recognize new document types without the need for retraining the software. So this actually saves a lot of your team's time. And reflecting on my earlier point, we've crafted decision-making patterns that help you prevent duplicate payments and promptly identify if there are any discrepancies in the invoice fields. This will definitely save your team's valuable time and reduce most of the administrative burdens. Plus, if there are any additional rules you need as a part of your business process, integrating them into the Complio Invoice platform is a breeze. Now, let me guide you through the business benefits of the Complio Invoice platform and how it can foster collaboration with your AP team and the suite. In the poll, I saw that a lot of you are still using manual ways of three-way matching and the reconciliation process. Probably after hearing some of the business benefits, you'll get to know and get started with a technological tool. Starting off with greater visibility, during the demo, I highlighted the importance for the C-suite to have a clear overview of all the invoices and their statuses, whether they're approved, pending, or overdue, to ensure business continuity and effective cash flow management. CIP's customized filtering capabilities provide this overview on a single screen with the added functionality of downloading these invoices for C-suite presentations whenever needed. You'd agree that in large teams, it's not uncommon for invoices to be misallocated. However, with CIP, the C-suite gains a broader perspective, and this also enables them to reassign invoices within the team with ease. More importantly, with detailed information readily at hand, the C-suite can proactively inquire about unpaid invoices directly from the accountant. So you see, there's a dynamic two-way communication. It's not just the accountant working in silo. The C-suite can directly monitor them and guide them in case they face any sort of issues. Enhanced traceability. For companies with large AP teams, traceability is something which is of paramount importance. And AP team members often face scrutiny and are at times questioned by their uplines when there are discrepancies in invoices. Our comprehensive audit trail captures every action, even if it's a small one, every action in the invoices from the start to finish, which basically helps C-suite executives in tracing the issues sometimes, and also identifying the team members who have tried to attempt and resolve them. So by all of this ensures accountability, and you also get an ability to maintain evidence or backup documentation. Increased team productivity. So by utilizing the various filters on the Complio Invoice platform, the appliance can examine if there are any patterns that they see in the pending or the overdue invoices, and they'll be able to pinpoint any of their AP team members who might be facing some challenges and due to which they're able to not complete the entire process of reconciliation. So as a manager, they can provide some tailored support such as mentorship, upskilling, or additional training to basically assist them in enhancing their skills. We also believe that this targeted approach can help boost the team's overall efficiency and the productivity in the longer run. Real-time data. CIP basically distinguishes itself from from standalone systems due to its capability to synchronize data and documents instantly with your ERP. So this ensures that there's accuracy, the data that you see is accurate, and there's also zero latency. And as I showed you earlier, the platform's filters, the different filters are useful in generating timely reports. And these become particularly useful when AP team members need to assess their own progress, or say, for example, when the C-suite demands immediate insights into specific invoices, such as those coming in from a particular supplier. The reporting feature becomes particularly important as it allows, like I said, immediate download of reports, ensuring that they get the necessary data without any delay. Improved communication, and this was something that was also evident in one of the polls that we had earlier. You can definitely say that there's a significant need of interdepartmental communication, and the conventional methods such as chat or email often result in lost information. With the help of our integrated communication tool, AP users can quickly obtain approvals or at times seek clarifications from their uplines directly within the platform. And this consolidation of communication saves time and also simplifies the problem solving, as all the relevant information is accessible in one location right away. Automation oriented. Finally, CIP integrates seamlessly with any IT business systems or ERP or accounting software, and it automates many routine tasks that your AP department does now, so they can probably concentrate on more important work in their KPIs. So this definitely saves time for not just you, but for your larger team in general. So to summarize, these are just a few of the many business benefits you'll discover once you start using the platform. And the purpose of showing these advantages is to demonstrate how our advanced technological tool, the CIP, can help establish better controls, give you access to cleaner data, and also enable effective reporting. We strongly believe that this will allow the AP teams to identify the root cause of their day-to-day issues, and also help them provide their C-suite with the critical information that they need instantly. Now I'd like to hand over to Janine, who will ask you some questions and share more about Symtrax and our company profile. Over to you, Janine.
Thanks, Mahir. Actually, I think we are probably going to go through to the questions first. We'd like to ask you, the audience, a few questions. And this is to help us with our Complo Invoice platform for future development and to help us keep innovating. So Complo Invoice platform was actually designed not only by our developers, but in collaboration with accounts payable team members and accountants. So it has been designed with the end user in mind. And your community, this community, the accounts payable community, is extremely important to us because we would like to further develop according to the end user's needs, which are yourselves. So the first question is, what information would you like to see in an AP invoice processing dashboard? Now, we would like to go further into developing a dashboard which sits with CIP, and so we would like to know from you what you would like to see. You can answer in the chat box, and we'll give you a bit of time to do that. Otherwise, you can email us your feedback. At the end of the session, Mahir will give you his contact details. And of course, you do have the emails addresses for Accounts Payable Association directly, and they will give us that feedback. So if anybody wants to go ahead and answer now, you are more than welcome to do so in the chat box.
Hi, Janine. So we actually have some feedback of Joanna Baines would like to see invoice life cycle as part of a dashboard.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So people on the call will know dashboards are near and dear to my heart since the conference in October. Seems to become my trademark talking about dashboards now, which, as most people know, I tend to break them. So I'm probably not the best person to ask. Okay, we have Nicholas Brealey. Let me just see what feedback we have. Creditor days, invoices, WIP, payments in terms amongst others. Hold on, is that the whole thing? There we go. Oh gosh. Okay. Someone anonymously said a real-time summary of invoice status where you can drill down on any outlier invoices so we can see which are stalled. So again, that kind of goes into that query management piece. Janine, you and I have talked a few times that in AP kind of queries are the backbone of what we do. You know, when C-suite want to engage with us, or if we need to engage with the C-suite and say, okay, we need a little bit of support, you know, in roles I've had, we've had escalation policies. So having easy data where you can click a button and it's in real time and it tells you like, okay, this, I'm going to go back to my old word, this depot has 1.2 million pounds with stock in query. And then you can drill down in all sorts of things from there. Okay, we've got some more. Okay.
I like the one answer there, Kat. It says exactly that, Kat. Perfect.
Every now and again, I know what I'm talking about, not very often. But like most people who know me and know my previous role, like that's pretty much, other than recruitment, when all the team quit, all I ever did was query management.
Okay.
So
it is a
anything and everything data-wise around helping AP sort of enforce their stance with queries, because with AP, very little of what we do is solely AP. In AP, we are constantly having to touch other departments to get something done. So kind of having that backup is imperative to say, okay, it's with that person, it's been with them that long, even if you can drill down into how many times you've reached out to them.
And I think,
how many
Kat,
touches.
Through that actual demonstration that Mahir did of Complear Invoice Platform, there's a lot of ways you can filter to find that information. But I understand you know, that some people would also like to see that through into a particular dashboard so that they can touch and then go through and drill down to the grassroots. So I do understand that. But like you said, there's a lot of times that you've got to have those touch points and you don't work you know, as a siloed department. You have to go and communicate with other departments, which is why, you know, you'll be able to see all that communication, all those messages sent through and requests to other departments, and then have that, as Mahir showed, that audit trail. So you can see how many times you've had to go through and ask other departments. And, you know, it becomes bigger than just AP. That's when you can involve heads of other departments to say, look, we're having the same sort of problem happening and the same sort of communication with your department that we constantly trying to get from you so that we can finish our tasks, so we can go through, wrap it up and finish to payment. And you know, if that's not, if the communication isn't clear and that's not sort of resolved, and those problems, it means that your payment process becomes longer, and it means that the suppliers are unhappy, and of course your buyers are going to be on your back, and so it's that cycle and that vicious circle that continues. So I'd like to thank everybody for sending through their suggestions, and hopefully I'll be able to get this later on so that we can then, thanks Kat. So we'll go through and feed that through to our developers and see what we can come up with. That would be very interesting to see the next time round, Kat.
Yes, and the interesting thing about a dashboard, and when we talk about breaking the silos, is kind of using that to even kind of have a bit of a retrospect on you and your team as AP, because maybe if you're approaching the same department in the same way and you're getting the same result, maybe you as the AP team need to change your approach. Just every now and again, I like to throw out the opposite side of the coin. That makes me very unpopular.
The cat amongst the pigeons. Huh?
Yes, literally.
Okay, I do have another question, Kat, but I don't know if a lot of it has been already addressed. If we can just bring that down. All I'm seeing is the answer. Okay, there we go. Okay, so the next question is all around reports. We know that reports are critical to you and to the communication with your uplines and your C-suite. And like Kat said, you've got to have that information at your fingertips. So if you could let us know what reports are critical for you, if you could name a few, and we would like the ability to filter in our Complia invoice platform, and that you can then download from there into a different format, so that you can then use that within your reporting. So if you could let us know in your chat. Again, if you aren't going to participate now, you can email those answers through to this question. So we'll just give you a bit of time to digest that one.
See if any come through. Okay. Payments performance has been suggested. Age credit reports. Payment performance again. Obviously, payments are a very hot topic, and payments on time and duty to report in our world. So any data around payments is always a good one for accounts payable. Got goods receipts, I think that is GR/IR. Invoice receipts, yes. Thank you, Joanna. Testing my knowledge of my acronyms. I'll have to add that to my acronym document that I'm working on. Okay. Outstanding disputes. Again, that kind of comes back to that query management piece. What are the outstanding disputes? How long? Who are they with? We had a lot of comments before about naming and shaming. So. Oh, duplicate postings. Yeah, I didn't say it. Duplicate postings. Okay, that's all at the moment. But again, we'll collate all this data for you, Janine, if any more come in the meantime, and send it to you. And of course, when your details are shared at the end, if people if you're anything like me and you come off this end and go, oh, I wish I'd suggested this one, you can email Janine and me here and say, actually, if these are the sorts of things we'd like to see.
Great. Thanks, Kat.
No worries.
So I think I'm going to go on to the next section just to let you know a little bit about Symtrax. So for over 30 years, Symtrax has helped to craft, tailor, and seamlessly integrate customer-specific, platform-independent software solutions, along with cloud-based automated document interchanges. So it's a bit of a big one, but yeah, that's what we do in a nutshell. We have associated with over 3,500 customers over various industries, and we can meet the needs of all industries by developing customized solutions. Symtrax has 8 offices globally, and because of the strategic positioning of these offices, we can provide 24-hour support to our customers. On average, we have 12 years of customer loyalty. And it's good to note that Symtrax has technology partnerships with SAP, Microsoft, and IBM. We can connect to any ERP as long as we have API connections. Okay. Our expertise, we offer a digital business platform that seamlessly connects with your existing systems, whether on-premise, cloud, or SaaS-based. 4 categories we specialize in: enterprise e-invoicing. You can automate e-invoicing, that's inbound for your supplier invoices, and outbound for your customers. with secure integration in multiple countries. Signature solution, you can customize and automate digital and electronic signature workflows for your entire enterprise. EDI-ready process automation, you can experience secure data exchanges between trading partners with API. And digital data and document transformation, you can enhance and automate your business processes. So onto our customers. This is just a slide showing you a short list of our customers with their logos, but there are many more. Thanks very much. Okay, back over to you, Mahir. Just quickly, I'd just like to ask if everyone can hear us okay. Our and see that our interaction and internet connection hasn't been disrupted?
No, it's been
Okay.
all right from my side.
Okay, perfect. It just flagged up on the webinar tool. Sorry, please go ahead, Mahir.
Yeah, thank you so much, Janine. And before we proceed to the Q&A session, here are my contact details. Please feel free to reach out to me. I'm available on LinkedIn, and here are my contact details, my email address, and the phone number. I'd be more than happy to learn about what your current process, and happy to discuss our solution offerings. More than happy to also set up a tailored demo for you and your team. So looking forward to hearing from each one of you. Finally, it's time to drop in with any questions that you might have regarding the demo or the presentation, and me and Janine would be more than happy to answer them for you.
Let me unmute there. Okay, I'm just going to have a look and see what questions have been asked by the audience. Okay, I have one that's come up.
Okay.
Actually, there's a few in here. So it says, does the solution handle non-PO invoices as well?
So yes, Janine, I think that I showed this during the product demonstration as well. CIP can handle both non-PO and PO invoices, and CIP is customizable to meet most of the business needs. I'm sorry, I heard some disturbance. So yeah, so CIP is customizable to meet all the business needs. So by any chance, if you encounter a non-PO invoice, you'll have the option to enter all the details in the provided interface and proceed with the subsequent steps or whatever configurations are there in your existing business setup. So yes, additionally, you can also set up some automated workflow around all the non-PO invoices so that you can get done with the reconciliation as quickly as possible. So to answer to that question, yes, that's doable, and we've been doing it for a lot of our existing customers.
Okay, thanks, Mahir. Let me see what else we have on here. Okay, here's the next question. What is the average implementation time for your platform? Okay.
Okay, so that's a very nice question. So the duration depends on the complexity of the business, the number of workflows that needs to be configured, and the type of documents, the different type of documents that your company handles. But I can say, drawing from our experience with clients across industries, we are familiar with potential bottlenecks during implementation. And on average, I can say that it takes around 10 to 15 service days to go live with the solution.
Okay. Thanks, Mahir. Okay, here's one more. It's a bit of an interesting one. We are a mid-sized manufacturing organization and have been using Oracle NetSuite ERP. Can your tool connect with the same?
So yes, as I mentioned earlier, CIP is ERP agnostic, and we have ready connectors for most of the ERPs in the market, such as SAP, Oracle, Microsoft, IBM, etc. Even if it's an ERP that we have not previously worked on, we would be able to integrate with it, provided you share the API functions that are needed to exchange the information. So yes, we'll be able to integrate with your Oracle NetSuite ERP.
Okay, I'm just going through everything here on the back end just to see if there's any more questions that have come up. Kat, are you happy just for us to leave it a few more minutes in case somebody thinks of a question they'd like answered? Just a wee bit.
Can leave it a couple of minutes more. But yeah, some really interesting questions there, and certainly really good engagement from our attendees on the interactive questions you guys had. Can't wait to see what you do with it, because there's a lot. Like say for AP, we like a lot of data, so the more the merrier. Okay. But again, if anyone's feeling shy or just can't think right now, you know, you've got Janine and Mahia's contact details, and I'm sure they'll be more than happy to answer any questions or take any feedback for their future development of dashboards and reporting. Then probably at some point we'll have you back on and you can show us where you've got to with all the mad scientist ideas we've chucked at you today.
Absolutely, Kat. We'd love to be back and show you again, you know, how our Complex Invoice platform has further developed. You know, we're always looking at the latest technology and how to improve and really serve the end users, which are yourselves. So yes, thank you so much for having us on today. Thanks to Mahia for a brilliant presentation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and thank you, Kat, for
Excellent.
hosting.
No, thank you, Janine and Mahia from Symtrax. Again, you had the contact details, but if anyone needs them, just come to me and I can share them if anyone didn't quite capture those. Everything you guys have put in the chat with your feedback and any questions will be collated and sent to Janine and Mahia for their future development, or if there's any questions that we didn't quite get to on the call. I want to thank everyone for attending the March Masterclass. God, the months are flying by. I nearly said February. Again, thank you to Janine and Mahia. It was a fantastic presentation, and hopefully we'll see you again on our Masterclass very, very soon.
Thank you so
Thanks
much, Kat.
Kat. Goodbye,
Thanks,
everyone.
everyone.
Thank you, everyone.